Alright, chat, we got it, we got him. Oh my golly, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Let's just go.
Scott, tell me what's in the box.
What?
I think as the 10-year anniversary is upon us, I will give this as my gift to the fan base on this 10th anniversary.
There's no way.
What's in the box is...
Yo! There's no way. There's no way. Chat. I've got them interviewing back there.
Hi, Mabel.
Yeah, she's the best. What's going on, guys? Stalker back again. Hope you're fantastic today. And it's the 10-year anniversary of Five Nights at Freddy's. It is August the 5th, which means if you've been looking at the list, what the official Twitter has been saying, it's the interview.
It's the interview day.
Cawthon, everybody.
Yes, bro.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Daco, good to
It's actually
see you
August
again.
the 4th,
Yeah,
so...
it's 6 years since the last interview, right? Which is crazy. A lot of things have been happening since then, so let's go back a little bit. So the interview was August 2018.
August 2018, yes.
So after that, we got Help Wanted, Special Delivery,
yeah, all the new gen.
Breach, Help Wanted 2, Ruin DLC, so there's a lot going on. And of course, the future games as well.
And all of the new book series.
Steelwall has announced something. I don't know what it is yet because we're recording this, you know, a couple of months before. But guys, whatever it was, I hope you're very excited for it. Future Dorco.
We don't know what it is. They switched the order of how these are released, so now
stuff to look.
There's
so much stuff to look forward to, and it's really cool that you've done like a week of exciting things for the 10-year anniversary. You know, we've never seen something like this before. 10 years of Five Nights at Freddy's, which is it's pretty crazy, right?
Man, I can't believe it's been so long since our last interview. That really seems like just it doesn't. How long did you say ago it was? 6 years ago? That's hard
it sounds
to believe.
different.
That's impossible to believe.
I know, right? I've actually got a song for you that I'm going to play for you to celebrate the 10-year anniversary.
Okay, now this is getting things off to a kind of an awkward start, but I'll let you go on ahead.
Okay. Are you
ready?
Wait,
you're going to be performing. Wait, you're going to be performing this yourself, or is something recorded?
I've got the harmonica right here.
Oh, a harmonica. Okay, my favorite.
I've been practicing this song for over 32 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that doesn't make sense.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Come on now, you started this.
Right, okay. Ready?
Oh, it's gonna happen,
really
guys.
I'm really good.
What is happening, chat?
Now, I will admit that I couldn't actually hear that. I don't know if your thing was cutting the audio out.
Well, I actually played a spell.
What is happening,
the spell
chat?
is from 1864.
What?
By a wizard named Dewey Muscrewy.
Okay.
That spell has now hypnotized you
to
tell me all the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, jeez. Now, I thought we talked about this in advance. Now, listen. This is a bad idea to start talking about lore. All right, well, here, you have to give me specific questions, and I'll see what I can answer for you.
I was joking.
But I make no promises.
Oh, man.
Tell me what's in the box.
What's in the box?
Wow, just direct. Just out and direct, just like
Who
that.
did the Bottom 87 chat?
Well, look, okay. It's the 10-year anniversary, okay?
There's no way he's actually going to do it.
Even though I like to be elusive, I like to kind of tease the fan base. I like to, and I do like there to be an air of mystery about things. Sometimes I do let things go on for too long. And I understand that sometimes things become not fun anymore and things can become frustrating for theorists.
Chat.
So, okay. I think as the 10-year anniversary is upon us, I will give this as my gift to the fan base on this 10th anniversary. What's in the box is...
whatever you want it to be. Chat, what?
Oh my god.
And that's about it. And that's it, man.
Yo, what? Wait.
Oh my god.
I feel like he kind of said Santa's nest, chat. What's in the back box is Santa's nest.
Oh my god.
And that's about it. And that's it, man.
So like we've been
We'll get
speaking
back
about
to this.
10
Are you
years
serious?
of Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a crazy amount of time.
I want to know,
we're still
chat.
here. It's been such a journey. So I just wanted to ask you, do you have a highlight moment for the whole 10 years of Five Nights at Freddy's since 2014?
I think there have definitely been a lot of satisfying moments. Like
Taco knows. Do you? I don't think he actually said it.
Whenever one of the new games would come out and it would be positively received, that was obviously a huge relief.
I don't think he actually said
there's never
it.
been any goal other than just giving everybody what they were really hyped up about. Because when you see everybody getting hyped up and getting excited, if suddenly something comes out that just is a big letdown, there's no greater fear, I think, for a game developer. So that was always satisfying and a relief. But I think the biggest highlight was probably just going to the movie theater to watch the movie when it finally came out, because behind the scenes of all of the games throughout the years and behind the scenes of all the books being written and everything else, there was always the movie. The movie was just a slow burn project, even just starting as late as 2014. So that has been in the background, being progressing.
I don't think he actually told Doc it's in the box. That'd be crazy though.
No, not almost the entirety of that first 9 years. So to be able to actually go sit in the theater.
Yo, chat. There we go, chap. You can see them interviewing back there. My Daco plushie and my Scott plushie.
And hear the reaction from everybody and hear the fans really enjoy it. That was definitely...
Yeah, I like the movie.
That was definitely a moment of just real happiness for me, I think.
Literally 9 years, having ups and downs, getting the script right as well. I know you've said on post before you've had so many scripts made for the movie. The plushies in Manhattan or something.
Yo.
That was one of the scripts. So
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I can imagine
Plushies in Manhattan is crazy.
Difficult it's been, like trying to get it all done. I can just imagine. Well, I can't imagine it because I'm not you, but when me, Raz, and Ryan and Baz went to a premiere for it and sat down at the cinemas, and we all looked at each other at the end.
Jim is in the box.
We had to we couldn't believe it, and we didn't even make the games. We've been there since basically day one, but we all said imagine how Scott's feeling right now. Just sitting down and seeing it actually on the big screen. It must be a crazy feeling.
Yeah, and now that I've been through the process, I can tell you it's a miracle that any movie gets made. Just being through that process, just how many wheels have to be turning at the same time, and how many things. And even though this process took a long time for me, Hollywood works at just blazing speed, where there's 100 things happening at the same time, and it's a miracle if these things get coordinated. And sometimes things don't work out, but sometimes they do. On the day that I was driving to New Orleans, and the shooting was supposed to start the next day, on that drive, I was on the phone. It was like a 5-hour drive from where I was. I was on the phone the entire time trying to finish contracts and finish negotiating points, because there were still open items with there were still things that needed to be resolved with Universal, Blumhouse, the Actors Guild, the Writing Guild. There were just Louisiana. There were all of these things, and any one of them not being settled properly would mean we couldn't start filming. And all of those conversations were happening at the same time, and all of them depended on one of the other ones. And so that was a very stressful drive, but that's just the way that Hollywood works. There's a million things happening at once. It was definitely a whirlwind, but to see all of those pieces come into place, it was pretty remarkable. And yeah, like you were saying, just all of the scripts, starting just with 2015. There were a couple of deals that weren't very good that I'm very fortunate didn't pan out. But then whenever I was with Warner Brothers briefly, that was a good deal, and I was very, very grateful to have that. But even that, whenever the stars seemed to have aligned, things just didn't work out there either. And so I was really fortunate to meet up with Jason Blum and get to have that deal with Blumhouse. You know, they had a lot of faith in the project, and they were following my lead on a lot of things, you know, sometimes to a fault, because lots of times I would throw things out and want to start over. But, you know, they were with me the whole journey. They were with me, and they believed in the vision. And everybody just had the fans at heart. That's all anybody wanted to do. Everybody
was going to be there,
making sure that every part of the movie would be something that the fan base.
I still believe he was. I believe. In my mind, I just think of the security guard as him.
And I think in the end, we were able to accomplish that. And I'm just really happy with that. And I think we landed with just the perfect cast. Which again, that almost didn't happen either. There were a couple of instances where someone else was about to get a part, and then something would happen that would make that not work out, and then someone better would step in. And I've said this to, my contacts at Blumhouse numerous times just over this last 6 months, even since the movie came out, thinking, aren't we glad that we got like Josh Hutcherson for this role? Like, isn't it great we had Elizabeth Lale for this role? Isn't it awesome we had Matthew Lillard for this role? You know, isn't it great we ended up with Piper Rubio for this role? Like, every single person that we ended up with was just absolutely perfect in those slots, and everybody was just a delight to work with. Once again, since I'm new to kind of the film industry, I got to talk to people about their other experiences on other projects, and it can be really scary because usually, from what I understand, every production has one member of the cast or one person on staff or just one person that, you know, causes problems or something like that. We didn't have anything like that. Nothing like that. Everybody was just phenomenal. They were just a joy to work with, and getting to go to filming was really fun. So it was a really fun experience. And in the end, I'm just happy that the fans were happy with it. Now, that's not to say the film didn't have, it's places where it could have been improved, and we're all, and we all,
Taco isn't cringe.
Emma and Jason Blum, we're definitely chat about that and looking to make sure the second movie is a step up and an improvement. So lots of good things to look forward to.
No one knew what he was doing at the beginning.
It's exciting, and yeah, you're right about the fan reaction. The fans absolutely loved it. Like, we all can't wait for the next movie. It's so exciting.
Oh yeah, FNAF movie too.
And I'm so glad it's actually happening as well. So yeah, exciting times. So yeah, you said that you've got a highlight of the 10 years of FNAF.
That's not.
If you could go back and change one thing in those 10 years, do you have anything that you would change? You can't say the box.
Yeah.
No, the one thing I would change, I wish I could go back and have one more shot at FNAF World.
That's crazy.
Really do.
I knew this out.
I know it still would definitely be the oddball in the series, no doubt. And maybe it would still have been a poor decision in general, but there were just a lot of bad decisions made at the beginning of that project that doomed it from the start. Like, I was making it with mobile in mind, so it was a really slow resolution. I was thinking about it as a game on the phones. I tried to make the whole game on one frame in Click Team Fusion. That just means I wasn't allowing it to be as big as it could have been. I was trying to cram it all together for my own convenience. There were just several decisions that were made that really hindered that. And also, I was in a rush because I was getting a little arrogant, thinking that, hey, anything I make is going to be gold, and I definitely ate some humble pie with that really, really quick, and I learned that is not the case. And so I've tried to be very careful to not make that mistake again.
What if you did a FNAF World remake?
But, yeah, if I could go back and change one thing, I wish I could maybe work with a different developer and just really make it a high resolution game, get in some really good graphics, maybe get someone else to, help me with those graphics. And it could have been a good game. Who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line, if I get really antsy about it and have a lot of free time on my hands, maybe FNAF 2 or FNAF World 2 might be a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that, you could still get a different company to do a FNAF World game. It's not over yet. I think I've said this to you before. I love FNAF World. I think it is so underrated, and I always say FNAF World is underrated. I love it so much. There's a charm to it. I really do. And I know you don't like it, but I absolutely love it, man. I really do. I love everything about it.
If I had allowed myself to work on it for one more year, just like really double its development cycle and let it be a high res game, I bet it would have been. I bet it would have really been something. But like I said, who knows? Maybe for the sequel someday.
Let's move on to
Steel Wool. Let's go.
The amazing Steel Wool Studios.
Are they going to talk about how he retired? and then just didn't retire.
After Ultimate Custom Night.
Like he retired, and then everyone like forgave him, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm not retiring anymore."
Wanted one of my
Which is
favourite
good, but,
games,
like-
in VR.
Are we
I
gonna mention
absolutely
that?
loved it. What has it been like working with Steel Wool? Were you nervous about it? Because I know it's a big thing to, you know, give a company your baby basically and let them, you know, do what you've been doing for the past 5 years. How was it for the first time letting someone else work on FNAF?
I can't
I
believe
was
they
really
talked about
nervous
the box.
about it. I was really nervous. You know, I went several years still doing it by myself, even after I had the financial ability to pay other people. Again, I wasn't in that mentality of being able to do that. So even though I could have done that, I was still doing things just all by myself, all the way through Pizzeria Simulator.
Yeah.
But by then it was I knew that it was getting too much for me. I knew that I had to find another partner for it, and I was scared of that because, you know, there are stories all over the internet available about just games that went completely wrong because of games being mismanaged in the hands of, you know, development companies. And I'm sure that all of their pitches on the surface would have sounded the same, but I really got lucky. For that reason, I really feel like I got lucky, because whereas I probably could have accidentally ended up with a company that did botch something, I didn't. I think I really honestly believe that I landed with the best, just one of the best development companies.
Steel Wool's literally just a bunch
pleasure to
of
work with, and they've done a really
Pixar.
great job.
Steel Wool's a bunch of ex-Pixar employees that decided to make a game company. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's the Steel Wool is a bunch of ex-Pixar employees that decided to make games.
You know, this last one they did, Ruin, I thought it was just so much fun.
Yes, bro.
So
Ruin.
much fun, and I think that might be one of the. I think that might be my favorite thing that they've made was Ruin, and the things they have planned, which I'm not going to talk about right here, but the things that they have planned are really exciting too. So
why would he say he deceived
yeah,
Steel
I've been
Wool?
really happy. It's been a really good experience. Well,
Chat, you're
Help Wanted.
insane.
Well, I was going to throw in. I'm happy with how Help Wanted came out because at the time, and I don't have this anymore. I don't have a 3D. I don't have a VR setup anymore. But whenever the first Help Wanted came out, I did have a VR setup, so I was able to beta test. And of course, I was leading the charge to want to beta test my own games. I got into the Funtime Auditorium and I noped out of it. I took the headset off, and I immediately got on the phone with Steel One and said, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to test it. You test it. You're going to test it. You'll find someone else to test it. I didn't even get jump scared by Foxy. I was just in the darkness, and I knew I wasn't going to do it. And I never played it again. And I never played Help Wanted. And I never played Help Wanted 2 either. And I'm not going to.
He never played Help Wanted
to
2.
understand it though, right? Because in the past, like when I've obviously done videos on Help Wanted 1 and 2, I get a comment saying like, it's not that scary, you're overreacted, it's not that bad. But you don't know until you've literally put on the headset.
I don't know, I tried it, I wasn't that scared.
Different, you know, just watching it from a screen is compared to having the actual headset on, it's terrifying.
Yeah, completely different experience.
My other question, Glitch Trap.
Glitch Trap,
one of my favourite characters in FNAF now. I absolutely love Glitch
He's
Trap.
the mimic.
What are your thoughts on Glitch Trap as a whole, with the development of Help Wanted?
That's a crazy
I love
question.
The character. And I know that this is kind of one of the places where I know that there's a little bit of a divide with maybe me and the fan base, or maybe just within the fan base, because I always lean sci-fi. I have a tendency to lean sci-fi, even though I try to come back into the roots of the supernatural instead. But I can't help my inclinations to lean sci-fi. So anything that involves possession of AI or possession of machines or circuitry, that I love that sort of thing. So I love the idea of Glitch Trap. I'm not a huge fan of the name, and here's the way that these things happen. Okay, and this happened with Burn Trap too. Whenever I'm in the planning phase with Steel Wool, we come up with temporary names for these characters. You know, whenever we're doing the pre-production document, I'll say, oh, well, he's glitchy. We'll call him Glitch Trap. Oh yeah, he's Burn. We'll just call him Burn Trap. But then those names get embedded in the source code because they use those temporary names also. And once they're in the source code, and once someone finds them in the source code, that's it. Like that's the canon name now, and there's nothing I can do about it. And hopefully we're learning our lessons going forward to to maybe find I don't know, to just hone in on a better process there, because yes, I love the character, not a huge fan of the name, but it is what it is for now. You know, it's the name.
Was gonna be the name.
I love Glitchtrap's name. Can you think of a name like?
Yo, are they gonna ask him to come up with a new name?
You would
The Mimic.
want to call him or not?
Oh, I have no idea. But you know what? A good example is Nexus. You know, from
Nexus,
Ruin.
yeah.
Now that was a character where even in just my design of the game, I thought that through, and I came up with that, and I'm really happy with it. I really like that name. It's a really cool name. But now, see, if I didn't have one of those ready to fire off, I might have thought up something like, I don't know, Purple Trap or you know, or AI Trap, or just something temporary, and then that would have been the can name. That would have been so much worse than Nexus. So
after Help Wanted, we got Security Breach. Were you happy with the release of Security Breach when it first came out?
Security Breach, there's a really big story behind that.
We're gonna talk about
a challenging period, and a lot of things.
He goes, "Did you like it?" And he goes,
align up perfectly for that, and there were a lot of reasons for that. I mean, obviously, I hear lots of studios and things kind of blame COVID for stuff, but there is a reason for that. You know, COVID took well-structured work systems and suddenly scattered them and expected the work to continue to flow, and it just doesn't work that way. From my understanding, I'm pretty sure most, if not every, member of Steel Wool got scattered across the country and were trying to just carry on with the workflow, and it was just really difficult. I think that's really the only example when my idea of how a game was going to go was misaligned with how things were going with Steel Wool. And I had a specific story for this in mind. Okay, for Security Breach, I really did. I had a very specific story in mind, and it is very different than the one that got in the game. And I think a part of that is the way that I conveyed that to Steel Wool, because what I was trying to do was I was trying to tell Steel Wool to do specific things throughout the game, put specific items in specific places, have specific characters do certain things, meanwhile not telling them what the story plot was. Because in my head, I was thinking, okay, when people find this, they will connect this to this to this, and it will all be revealed. And I thought I could do that without telling Steel Wool the story plot. That didn't work out very well, because they got all of these pieces and they thought it was their job to connect them in a way that made sense. And so really what you ended up having were the same pieces, but telling completely different stories.
Wow.
And since I was trying to kind of tell a specific story with mine that went a certain direction, they were taking pieces I didn't fully understand and trying to craft a story out of them. And again, I don't blame them for that. I blame myself for that, because I guess what I should have done is just said, hey, here's the story. Here's why these pieces.
That's huge. That's huge. I think that confirms the Mimic. Chat, I think that confirms that the Mimic was planned from the beginning.
Are here. Here's how they're supposed to connect.
Mimic!
I can give you a really easy example for this. And I'm hesitant to say this because I don't like messing with the lore, but I think in this case it's okay. When it comes to Burn Trap, originally Burn Trap was never supposed to move.
What?
He was supposed to just be something you saw in the corners, or like if you were walking past machinery, you might be able to peek in between two things and see him in the corner or propped up against a wall. Almost like a some kind of decaying movie prop, and you never fully understood what his purpose was. And he had a very specific purpose, and I'm not going to say what that purpose was, but realistically, he never moved. Well, obviously, that's not what we got in Security Breach. In Security Breach, we got a capsule opening and purple smoke flowing out, and him climbing out and coming to get you. And so it's just not quite the same thing. So, but anyway. It didn't turn out the way anybody wanted, but hey, whenever that happens, just like whenever I stepped in it a little bit with FNAF World, me and Steel Wool got together. We were like, look, all that matters now is making things right by the fan base. That's all that matters. We all had the best intentions going on. We all wanted to
that's
make
huge.
A good product, and we went in and we made Ruin for it, and I hope that redeemed the game, and I feel like it did, because I think it was really great. And yeah, and anything.
So he goes, So what were your opinions on Security Breach? And he goes, bad, but I hope Ruin improved it. That is crazy. Also, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So, all of this, so Burn Trap isn't real. And that is so huge. That is so huge. Burn Trap is not real. And the Mimic is. And the Mimic is. And the Mimic is. And it's the Mimic. And so the Mimic is the true... The Mimic is planned from the beginning.
We do going
Chat.
forward that continues that story.
That's so
has
cool.
the same themes. I think we're just going to be in a much better situation to continue on.
So the Ruin DLC came out a year ago now, which is crazy to think about. Time's going so quickly, and the fan reaction to that was amazing. Everybody loved it, and everybody's looking forward to what's next. The ending of Ruin, with a specific character that came out, a new character into the games, the Mimic. Any thoughts
Mimic.
on the Mimic?
I cannot share any thoughts on the Mimic other than I really like that character. This is a character that I really like and I'm really excited about. I think it's a really terrific antagonist, and I don't think it's the last that we've seen of the Mimic. That's all I'll say.
Yes.
W Mimic.
Do you have a favourite character in the Steel era of games?
I mean, Music Man is too obvious of an answer, right?
That's crazy.
I mean, I think all those characters turned out great. In fact, I think this is why it's hard to pick a favorite, because all of them turned out so well. You know, I've always really liked Vanny as a character. I don't think that Vanny was utilized to her fullest potential, and so hopefully we'll see another opportunity for Vanny to return as well. We'll see.
Ooh.
Vanny? But Vanny was freed, right? Right? Chat, Vanny was freed, right? Chat, Vanny was freed. How can she return? She was freed, right? She was freed, right? No way!
Okay. Moving on to books. So, the books have been amazing. I've been doing little summary videos on the channel with Fazbear Frights. That was awesome. How has it been working on Fazbear Frights?
It's actually really enjoyable. It's probably one of the most enjoyable things that I do, because I just get...
Sorry, I'm just still thinking, Vanny isn't freed. Chat, Vanny is not free? Vanny is not free. Vanny is not free. What? Wait, but we saw Vanny crack, destroy Good Shot. She should be free. What? I
get to think up a really scary scenario, and then I create maybe a 10 to 15 page story out of it. And then I have writers that I work with, obviously, and they take that and they really flesh it out and fill it out and add the details and turn it into a full-length story. And I get to kind of just really see it come to life. So it's been really enjoyable, and that's something that I really enjoy. It's funny because it's one of those things where, as long as I know that that's something that's happening in my life, I might be at the gym or I might be watching a show, and then suddenly something will come to mind, and I'll be like, "Oh man, this is gonna make a great story," and I get right home and I start working on it.
Do you have a favorite story out of all of them?
I think my favorite story it's probably Bunny Call. I know that's kind of an oddball choice, but there's a reason for it. Because some of these stories are based on my real life experiences. Bunny Call is not completely made up. I used to take my family to a family summer camp. Okay, this is my two oldest boys were maybe 11 and 12 at the time. Or no, I bet they were 13 and 14. It's hard to remember exactly when this was. But then I had younger two that were just babies still. And whenever we showed up at camp and we were all in the auditorium signing up for activities, rafting and boating, one of the things you could sign up for was a panda call. Okay. And a panda call it's a very deceiving title, because what that meant is that early in the morning, a bunch of the camp counselors dressed as killer clowns would come into your cabin and scare the crap out of your kids to wake them up early and drag them off to their daily activities. And so I signed up my two oldest, Ian and Braden, my old beta testers for whenever they, for all their lives testing my games. I signed them up for it. And I thought, oh yeah, this will be kind of fun. It was kind of fun until the next morning started rolling around. I started thinking about what I'd done, because then the next morning I woke up at 5 a.m. and I realized they're out there somewhere. Like this is happening right now. And I started listening for screams, and I started listening for noises, and I even snuck out and went outside, and it was dark and there were crickets chirping, and I was looking around, and I just thought to myself, somewhere out here in the dark in these trees are a bunch of clowns, and they're coming to my cabin. and it was a really, really scary sensation. And so then I just went back inside, and I looked at my family sleeping. I looked at my baby sleeping, and my kids and my wife, and I was like, what have I done? Like, what have I done? Of course it ended up not being a big deal, because then I just heard a soft knock at the door, and I opened it, and there was a row of killer clowns. I said, never mind, you guys, and they just walked on. And so it wasn't a big deal, but it was still a really eerie feeling like I had signed up for something that I'd regretted and I couldn't undo it, And so I based a bunny call on that.
Oh, that's awesome. You said that you've got relatable stories. Do you have a relatable story with Fazgoo?
Fazgoo.
Okay. Listen, anytime there's a series of a whole bunch of different things, you're going to have some that are great, and then some there's like, well, like what was going on with this? I don't know how to explain the Fazgoo. I'm sure I had something in mind that was really great, but they can't all be winners. Now I will say a couple of the other ones that had real life connections. Sometimes you hear about people talking about their sleep paralysis demons or whatever. That's never really made sense to me, but now it kind of makes sense to me, and I don't know why it does. Yeah, every once in a while, a person you'll wake up, but you'll still be paralyzed in your sleep, and for some reason, I guess in that moment, you're still half dreaming, and so you have a tendency to still maybe see something before you fully wake up. And the Blackbird creature was mine.
Wow.
That creature on the cover of Blackbird is my sleep paralysis demon, because I was on vacation, I was by myself, and I don't know what the circumstances were. I feel like I was taking a midday nap, but I woke up with a jolt, and for a split second, I saw that thing standing over me, and I couldn't move, and my body was tingling, and I was just frozen up, and I was just so disoriented after that, but I never forgot that, and I knew immediately after that, it's like, I've got to get this into a story somewhere, like this crazy-looking creature.
Wow.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I've never had sleep paralysis, so I don't know what my creature would look like, but I hope it doesn't look like that.
I don't think it's a normal experience. I don't think it's an experience you should want to have. I don't feel like it's a healthy thing. So if that hasn't happened to you, I think you're in a good place.
Do you have a least favorite story?
I don't know. I think it probably might be the Fazgoo, or no. I mean, come on. It's got to be the one where the guy gets pregnant with Springtrap's baby. I'm not sure what I was thinking about. Again, that's one of those things where, oh man, this is going to be really creepy. But then you step back and look at it from afar, and you're like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And I swear I wasn't picking on MatPat. That wasn't a story designed with MatPat in mind. It really, really wasn't. Listen, whenever you're doing these stories for this long, eventually you just run out of names, and you're going to cover all the names, Yeah. Eventually I'll get around to Dawko, and so if you see Dawko in one of these stories, it's not something personal. It's just because I ran out of names,
I don't know. Dawko is a very specific name that you'd have to get to.
I probably have a few more to go through before I get to that, so you don't have anything to worry about.
When doing my summary videos, and I know a lot of people say the same, people who loved Goosebumps when they were kids find these really relatable, right? And I know kids at school now read Fazbear Frights like they're Goosebumps books. And as a kid, my favourite TV show was Goosebumps. Would you ever think about or like the idea of Fazbear Frights ever being like a TV show like Goosebumps, where it's like a series of some of the best stories or something adapted?
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's something that can definitely happen, especially now that the first movie came out.
We're gonna get a Fazbear Frights TV show.
Opens the door to lots of other potential opportunities. The only thing to be mindful of is I don't want to oversaturate the market and just create too much. And I think that sometimes we get a little bit of that where franchises have movies and too many TV shows, and it just kind of waters everything down. But I really do like that idea, and it is definitely something that could happen for sure.
Wow.
Awesome. So the next segment
cool.
is the FNAF movie. I've got some questions for you, Scott. First off, I absolutely loved
You're not
the
going to mention
movie,
how I wanted
as
to.
you know, and I know a lot of people did as well. The fans absolutely loved it, and it did really well at the box office as well. Super successful.
Ooh, are they going to talk about Sparky?
Congratulations to you, Blumhouse, Universal. So yeah, first question is, how was working on the first FNAF movie after waiting for so long? After announcing it back in 2015, well, you emailed me back in 2015 about it. I still remember that email. But yeah, how was it?
It took a really long time to get off the ground, really just because of the screenplay. But after the screenplay was really locked in, from there, all the wheels started turning, all the engines fired, and it took off. And it was a really fun experience from there. And really the screenplay just had a lot of challenges because of what it was. And it's really, throughout all of those years, I worked with a lot of different directors, a lot of different writers, a lot of really talented people that eventually would end up leaving the project, but still really talented people. And it was really just a matter of there's just material that's difficult to translate to the screen. And one of the biggest issues is the animatronics, obviously being the monsters in the monster movie. If I were to approach any writer of a horror movie or any director and say, okay, here are your monsters, go make a monster movie with them, that's easy. You give them all a knife, you go in, you just make your generic slasher, but just have it be, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy doing the slashing. The nuance here is that these animatronics are possessed by the spirits of kids, and these are innocent kids. These are victims themselves. So it's very, very difficult to still have a horror movie, still have those kills that you need, but still preserve the innocence of those kids. And it's a really difficult thing to do. And there were several screenplays that did not hit that mark. And I think I was more cautious about that and more picky about that than anything else. If kind of the innocence of those spirits was not preserved properly, I wasn't going to go forward with it. And so, one quick example is the way that we were able to have a couple of kills in the movie was obviously the vandals. You have a group of people who are breaking in, they're disrespecting the place, they're trashing the place, they're there with bad intentions, and then you combine that with the fact that these animatronics are, the spirits in them are these kids that are basically very confused and lost, animals backed into a corner, and kind of left with this impression that adults are out to get them. And then you have these violent adults breaking in. And so it allows you to have that kill count while still being like, well, I can kind of see how that might happen. It was a tricky thing to do, but I think we were able to accomplish that.
Manipulated by William Afton still as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. The drawing on the wall was also kind of this layer, this blanket of manipulation over them all. So all those things combined, you could see how these actions could happen while it not necessarily being the fault of the kids.
With the fort scene as well, I loved the fort scene.
Yes, bro.
I know some people were a bit confused by that, like why are they building a fort? But I got it straight away. You just want to show the audience that they're just kids, right? Were you happy with the first movie and how it came out?
Yes,
I am very happy. I mean, look, anytime anybody, I think pretty much anybody who's been through a process like this would be able to look back. And I do this with my games too. You look back and you're like, well, I wish I'd tweaked this. Oh, maybe this could have been like this, or maybe this could have been like that. But you have to just really take a step back and look at it as a whole, and where it came from, all the things that could have gone wrong, and all the things that went right, and just be really grateful that so many things just fell into place. And I can give you a really quick example of why I don't want to second guess too much. At the 11th hour of this movie coming together, we still really didn't have a music composer, and I really wanted an animated intro. I was really pushing to have that 8-bit animated intro.
Yeah,
but we didn't have anybody, and really not really anybody to have an idea of what kind of music we were looking for. 11th hour, Newton Brothers come in and they write off that banger of a track, like absolute insane. Like I listened to that the first time and I was like, wait a minute, do I have a theme song? Does Five Nights at Freddy's have a theme song? And I called Emma Tammy on the phone. I was like, wait, do we have a theme song now? Like, I can't tell you how excited I was over that. And you better believe you're going to hear that again at the beginning of the second movie too. I mean, like, that was just so incredible. The Newton brothers just knocked that out of the park.
Ooh, wait. So at the first movie, we got an 8-bit of the kids' murder. What 8-bit would we get at the second? Dad, if you're in chat, what 8-bit are we getting for the second movie? What 8-bit would we get for the intro of FNAF 2? I personally think it would be Give Gives Life. Like the puppet, putting them in the suits. I think that's what I would do. Balloon Boy. Maybe. I think it'd be Puppet Give Life. Or alternatively, it could just be like a new rendition of the ones from the game. So it'd be Give His Life, Save Them, Give Kate, and Foxy Go Go Go. I think that's also possible as well. And then also, depending on where they're going to take the movie, it could just be the Springtrap scene. I don't know. I think it's going to be Give Gifts. Or it could be them dismantling the OGs into the Wizards. That's also possible. I don't know. I think it's really interesting to think about what we could have there for the second movie for the 8-bit. FNAF theme song confirmed.
Right. That I don't think I'm going to dwell too much on, what I would go back and try to do differently.
As we know, the movie was a major hit in 2023. Super successful. The biggest horror movie of 2023 as well. How does that feel seeing that happen?
It's nice. That part is nice. It's more important to me that if the critics had loved it, but the fan base was grumbling and saying, wait, this isn't how it is in the lore. Wait, we didn't like this. I don't like how they did this, and this, and the fan base was unhappy. That would be a failure to me. I'm perfectly happy with all the critics hating it and the fan base reacting positively to it. So yes, it is nice that the movie was successful. However, that is not the correct metric by which to judge the success of this movie. And in fact, opening night, which was Thursday night, where I am, I went to the very first showing.
Yo, is this a Freddy Files reference?
There were only a couple other people in there, but it was a 1:00 showing. So, but still, I saw that as kind of a bad sign. But I just watched it anyway. But I went to the next showing, which was just later in the evening, and I told myself I wasn't going to go online. I wasn't going to read any reviews. I had already told everybody at Blumhouse, and I told my legal team, don't talk to me, don't call me, don't email me, don't send me charts, don't send me facts or figures. I don't want to hear anything about anything. I'm going through this whole weekend blind. I just want to experience what everybody else is experiencing. Well, before I went into that second showing, I was just by myself. And then later that evening, my whole family was coming into town, by the way. My whole family was going to come in town and watch the movie with me that night. But this showing, I was still sitting by myself. I was checking my email, and I accidentally saw one of the reviews. And I saw that it was terrible. And that opened the floodgates, and I went and started reading all of the other reviews. And I immediately texted my family saying, don't come. Don't come. This is over. I want to be by myself. And I was already thinking in my head, like, how am I going to write a letter to Blumhouse apologizing for this? How am I going to write a letter to the fans apologizing to this for just wasting everybody's time? And I was just incredibly depressed. But somehow Jason Blum caught wind of this. I don't know who I asked a question to or what I said, but he started just bombarding me with text messages saying, Scott, the fans love it. The fans love it. The movie's a big hit. Everything's great. He was just in all caps, everything all caps. My phone was just blowing with all caps texts. And so he really talked me through that to try to encourage me that even though the critics hated it, there was a lot there was a lot to be loved there by the fans. And so then I had my family come into town anyway, and we just sat in a packed theater and listened to the cheers and enthusiasm, and it really lifted my spirits. But for a couple of hours there, man, I was pretty distraught. I thought the whole thing was just a complete disaster.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't. It all worked out okay. It all worked out okay. Yeah. And again, the movie's not perfect. There's definitely room to improve. But yeah, I'm definitely happy that it was in general received well by the fan base.
the second movie, which is, it's been announced that it's going to be coming out in 2025. Is it December 2025?
Yeah, December 5th, 2025, I think.
Nice.
Is there anything exciting to talk about on the second movie? Anything you want to say?
I'm not going to give away too many details, but I will say that I'm following kind of the same formula where the first movie is focused on the first game. So I'm going to try to carry on that tradition onward with future movies. And I think that is absolutely the way to go. And I think everyone's going to be really, really excited for what's planned for the second one. The first one was really challenging because it's so much setup. It's like, how do you establish all of this? But now that we have that launch pad, where to go from there came a lot just more natural. It felt a lot more natural. And we were able to really craft just a really great story, I think, and I'm really excited about it. And I won't say anything more, but I'm really hopeful that everyone's gonna really love what's gonna come around December 2025.
Yeah, so exciting. And is Emma back and everything?
Oh yes, yeah, well? Emma's gonna be back. She did such a great job on that first one,
Yeah, that's really good having the same director. So now we're going to be talking about Into the Pit.
Into the Pit.
The new game coming out by Mega Cat Studios. We just got the trailer, another trailer, a couple like last week, and it looks amazing. It looks so good. How has it been working on the game based on a Fazbear Fright story?
It's definitely been a unique experience. I first started talking to Meg. It's been years and years since that game has been in development, and originally it was just supposed to be a little novelty one-off. It's like, oh yeah, here's this little company that makes 16-bit cartridges, and that was immediately appealing to me because I'm all about the Super Nintendo. And so if I could make something that would come on the Super Nintendo cartridge, sign me up. That was the most exciting thing.
It's coming out
the most
exciting
product I'd ever worked on. It was still just supposed to be a novelty, but as the development went on, everybody was looking at it thinking, this looks pretty good. This actually looks really good. And so they just kept on going with it. They could have stopped a lot sooner, and they could have stopped with just a little simple novelty game, but they just kept going. And I kept looking at thinking, yeah, keep going. And they kept going, and I would keep looking at it. And it just turned into this big, full-fledged, full-sized game. So we obviously decided to venture away from strictly the cartridges, so that everybody can be able to play it on Steam and everything. But it's really unique. It's just a really, really unique game, and I do love that it really gets into just this really gritty these kind of gritty graphics that I haven't seen since the late 90s, whenever you had those point and click type adventures and you had that real kind of that pixelated art style that can be really creepy at times.
Yo,
I don't know.
Do you think it's gonna be an anniversary game, or do you think it's gonna be like
really be excited about it? I really do.
I don't know.
Awesome. I can't wait to play it. How has it been working with Mega Cat Studios then?
Oh, it's been great. It's been really great. I really haven't had to give them. I have had to give them direction, but for the most part, it's been weird. They would go into the hole for 6, 7, 8 months at a time, and I wouldn't hear anything from them, to the point where I thought, is this okay? And I would even, I talk to the other people that I work with, like, is this game okay? Is this going to be okay? Are they okay? Do I need to check on this? Do we need to check on them over there? But then I would get an update, and it would just be all this crazy new stuff and all this crazy detail, this fluid animation. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And then they'd go back into the hole again for 5, 6, 7 months. And then we just repeat that cycle. But now here we are finally at the end of that road, and I think it's just turned out really great. Like I said, really unique, and I think everybody's going to really like it.
The reaction to the trailer has been amazing. All positive feedback about it. Super excited. People love it. The story of Into the Pit as well. Into the Pit's probably my favourite Fazbear Fright story. So with all the
this is the first ever one.
What do you see for the future of FNAF spin-offs made by other studios in the future?
Oh, it's definitely a possibility. In fact, I'd really like them to start working on Fetch. I think Fetch would make a really good game after this.
Fetch?
Some stories
so it's just going to be based on the book
toward being a good game than others, but there's something
I don't
really
know if I like
scary
that.
about
is it going to be in the game
something always being out there and kind of watching your house, and then and then trying to come in and do things for you. Like, this is kind of a scary thought. The thought that I might be online shopping and looking for a specific thing, and somehow something out there is hearing that and receiving that, and then gonna come to me, sneak inside and put it somewhere without me knowing that it was there. It's just a creepy scenario. It's a creepy setup.
No.
And I think it'd be a really cool game to have to stop this thing, because obviously Fetch was out doing a lot of menacing things, to have to sneak around a neighborhood and stop this thing that's sneaking around so undetected. I don't know. I think it'd be a really cool game. So hopefully that'll be the next project. We'll see.
As the franchise has grown bigger, what challenges have you faced with running a franchise of this size? Is there anything you could be doing better?
I think something I should have made.
I can't believe this. So the game that's coming out in 4 days is going to be based on the book, and I don't think it's going to be in the game continuity then. And I don't think it's going to have any big lore reveals. I don't think it's going to tie to the lore. I don't know. I think it's just, I don't even think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think it's just going to be a game kind of based on the story, but
had a better
hopefully I'm wrong.
A better structure in place as far as people
But I
to
don't know.
talk to the fan base. You know, I've always kept that on myself all during the years, and in the early years, I think that worked great, because it was a little indie game, a little indie community, and then me, the indie dev, just chatting with the community and talking. But as the years go by and the franchise gets bigger and bigger, I don't know. I feel like I've slowly kind of lost touch with the fan base. Unfortunately, it's not that same. It's not that same relationship that it used to be. I really used to enjoy chatting with everybody and just kind of I don't know. And I guess that's expected, because FNAF is more of a big, it's kind of just kind of a bigger thing now, and it's bigger than one person, and I can't just pretend like I can hop online and chat with everybody and solve everybody's problems anymore. Used to, I kind of could. I could just go in there and chat with everybody and resolve little problems as if it was like just a squabble on a forum. I can always just step in and solve it, but it's just not the same. And I think that I should have realized that sooner. And I'm really only realizing that this year, that I really need to have a better structure in place. You know, and the fan base deserves that. The franchise deserves that. The fan base deserves that, to have more people in charge and running a Twitter page and official news feeds, so that there's not so much confusion about what's real and what's not real, and real news and fake news, and is this confirmed, is this not confirmed? You know, I could have avoided years of that if I just kind of had a better structure in place with people to listen to, and like I said, a news feed, and someone else to just provide better answers to the fan base. So I'm trying to get all that in place. And I really think I think it would just better serve the fan base. I think everybody would be a little
Open back
happier
up ScottGames.com.
Not just
Scott,
me
do it.
trying to jump
I
in.
dare you.
Straighten things out when needed.
Yeah, I think the Twitter's a great idea.
Yeah.
We're recording this in June, but you know it was announced today. The schedule for what's coming out during that week is really exciting and really good. So people, you know, can get excited for the anniversary. They kind of know what's coming, which is really exciting. And you know, communication like that, you know, it's you know, people have really appreciated that. So thank you for doing that.
Shadow Bonnie.
And looking forward to seeing what happens next on the Twitter, what they announce. And apart from the second movie to look forward to, is there anything else you could hint at? For the future, any future titles or any little hints to get people excited for the future?
One of the good things is going to be coming from Steel Wool, but that's going to be announced here in this same week that your interview is going to air. So I think that's it. In fact, I'm not sure if it was right before this or right after this.
Yeah,
it might have been right after this. Yesterday. Okay. And obviously everybody knows about the movie, and right now the books are these interactive books, which I read things like that growing up, and so I'm excited about those.
Chat.
And I've tried to add some depth into those to where you can actually collect items in them and things like that. So it's really not just about picking a path; it's about picking a path and getting something, and then going to the other path and being able to use something. So it makes it more interesting and more intricate. But yeah, I mean, that's the plan for movies, games, and books. And I already told you my hope for the next Mega Cat game.
Fetch.
And there is another game planned with steel wool, but that's not going to be announced for a while yet. So I
Whoa.
can't talk about that. But there is something down the pipe.
Okay.
even beyond what's being announced this week, there's something beyond. But I can't talk about that.
Yeah. So I won't spoil anything. But I read the week before, guys, and it is.
You got it early?
It is good. So please, check it out when it comes out. I'm looking forward to the Into the Pit
Stocko just
one.
gets things early.
VIP is the interactive novel VIP another one as well?
Yes. Yeah. VIP it's one that I did with Scholastic, just like the others, but it's just going to be free. It's specifically for this event. I mean, I might still be included in a box set later down the road, but no, for this week, it was made specifically for this event.
I like the
by
VIP.
the same author, I believe, as the week before. So if you enjoyed that one, you'll enjoy VIP.
I like VIP.
I really love the story for VIP. I'm not going to ruin it, but it might be one of my favorites. So hopefully everybody really enjoys that.
That's awesome. I'm pretty sure it comes out before the interview. So
okay, great.
Future me, if you're watching, you probably loved it. There is a collab announcement tomorrow from this interview. Whatever it is, I don't know. But it seems that you've been more open with collaborations with games recently. The Funko one as well.
Okay.
Are you more open to more collabs since we last spoke during the last interview? Would you be interested in whatever it is? I don't know. Like Fortnite or Dead by Daylight?
Yes.
Have those popped into your head at all? Or
I'm very careful with collaborations because I want to protect the brand and I want to make sure that Five Nights at Freddy's stays as Five Nights at Freddy's. And there are some games where even if I really enjoy the game, it just doesn't feel like a good
Fortnite.
match. It feels like a mismatch. The brand integrity is the most important thing for me, and keeping everything feeling like it belongs. And so that's really been my only hesitancy. I feel like I am branching out a little bit, and I am a little bit more open to those things than maybe I was in the early years. But I'm still very careful about it. We'll just see. We'll see how things go.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add to finish off the interview?
Let's see here. No, I mean, I think things are in a good place. Like I said, I think that the things that are on the horizon are all things to be excited about. And I think that everybody's going to really enjoy. The things that the fan base really going to enjoy. And I wish I could talk about those more, but I don't feel like I can.
So do you think we're going to have another interview in 10 years' time?
It doesn't have to be 10 years. We can try to do this a little bit more often.
But what, every 5 years?
Yeah, every 5 years. There we go.
Okay. Shaking your hand.
Just make it a regular thing.
Okay, awesome. The biggest thing that everybody has been begging me for this interview when I announced it is the box. That is, everybody just wants to know anything about it because it's the biggest mystery out of the whole.
Oh, the Bite of 87 is! Ask about the Bite of 87!
10 years of FNAF, I would say. Maybe Midnight Motorist is number 2. But yeah, I'd say the box is the biggest.
Bite of 87! Oh.
That everybody wants, like, even a tiny snippet of something.
Bite of 87!
Help.
Okay. Well, I can try to give somewhat of an answer to that.
Hey, yo.
Even though it might not be extremely satisfying for a lot of people. So I would encourage people to turn off the interview if they don't want an answer that they might not be happy with. But whenever I'm making these games, there are a lot of things that are in my head that are just flowing ideas, and when I have them and put them there, it's the first half of something. It's like a string or a rope just like reaching out, and I know that what's there on the other end is there. I trust that it's there. I know that it's there. And then whenever I progress forward, the rest of that just reappears. The rest of it appears and just fits into place perfectly. That's how all my games have been made. I feel that there is something there, and I make the roads to get there for that to be revealed. But then sometimes when things do progress, the roads aren't always the same roads as the ones that had been planned before.
Sure.
And so what that means is, even though at the time something was definitely there, something was definitely reaching out to be there, and I could feel that it was there. The progression of the story didn't go there, and so those strings never got pulled on, and and the other half of that idea remained in the ether, remained in my subconscious. All of that to say, there is something in the box, but I never pursued it, and I don't know if I can find it again. And I think that that's the best answer that I can possibly give for that.
Scott, thank you so much for the interview.
What?
Myself and everybody really does appreciate it. We're looking forward to the future. We're looking forward to this week.
Dream Theory.
Future me is probably stressing out, playing all the demos and getting ready for Into the Pit in a few days. I'm so excited for Into the Pit. I really, really am. And all the fanverse stuff as well. My Pop Goes and The Joy of Creation, that demo. I'm looking forward to playing all of those as well and reading the new book. There's a lot in that week. I'm going to just be MIA that whole week. I've already told my friends and family, like, I'm not going to be here for the whole week. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'm going to be in this room just doing everything I can that week. And yeah, we really do appreciate it. So yeah, I think that's it. Which is really weird. That hour went so quick. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Wow.
Without you
oh
guys
my! What's in the box,
channel,
chat?
No, I wouldn't be doing this in the first place. Interviewing Scott.
What's
so
a
it
mimic?
does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic.
I think that I think that does confirm some things. All the theories that people are making that ties the box into something important. It's not that. The box is something that isn't important to the story that has been crafted by Scott so far.
Are excited for Into the Pit and Steel Wars announcement as well. That's so exciting. But
Five
yeah,
Loves of Freddy's. Should we review Five Loves of Freddy's?
I appreciate it. So yeah, we'll both leave now.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me, Docco. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Scott. Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, chat. Alrighty, chat. Wait, I want FNAF. Well, that was an interesting interview. For sure. Into the interview. Yeah, it was a really fun stream. To look at everything. I'm going to go work on a plushie for one of the upcoming games. It's going to look a little something like this. That's your teaser. And yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next. So yeah, goodbye.